Where are we heading for now?
We're going on a public bridle way where there's no unauthorised access.
Trespass, and we're going to swing from the towers, and we're going to climb on the turbine access ladders, especially in lightning conditions.
well, there you go. So, is this one going to be it's another close Marilyn, isn't it, John?
Yes.
Is it in the list as a Marilyn at the moment?
151 metres of ascent.
So is it looking at the summit today and then coming back for the col sometime in the future?
Yeah, the col's down by the M6 to the north of here.
Yeah.
It might be quite difficult to find. A bit like
need a recce first.
But needs a recce.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just the top.
Yeah, cheers, thanks. So we're on our way to the summit of Lambrigg Fell, past the wind turbines. You can see those in the background on the right, just beyond John and Graham. A little bit bumpy at the moment, trying to keep up with them. They've promised me that they won't get too far ahead of me. I tried to sneak off ahead of them again because they are quicker around the hills than I am. But it should be quite interesting today. It's going to be a while before we know whether this is or whether this remains within the Marilyn list. Because we've tagged this on to another survey we've just conducted, which was Ling How in the How Girls looked at that for Dewey status. And I think the col for Lambrigg Fell is adjacent to the M6, so I think that will probably need a good reconnaissance and maybe then a future trip to survey. So I'm quite looking forward to this. Bagging Marilyn, I haven't been up here before, so I'll leave you with the view of John and Graham just disappearing off into the distance.
Right, hi everybody. We're on the summit of Lambrigg Fell just now, and you can see the GPS churning away in the background. We parked just off the main road, and it was a quick walk over fairly short grass to the summit, very little ascent, so we were soon here. And after traversing a wall, we get up onto the highest point. When you are on the summit, you look around, there are two other small summits which could be as high, and we've checked those out. They're both lower, and in fact we came a couple of 3 years ago and did a similar exercise without the GPS at that time, and found the same summit position as we're on now. So we used the Levelland staff just to prod around up here and find the exact position for the summit on this particular top, set up the GPS, and away it is going, and that will give us an accurate height. The reason that we're on Lambrigg Fell, as I guess many people will guess, is that it is a marginal Marilyn with a drop of, I think it's either 151 or 152 metres, but quite close to the borderline. So the plan is we will get our height readings, and then at some time in the future we will return and do a reconnoitre of the col, which is quite complex. You have the motorway and the railway line running very close by at that point, so we'll need to get a lie of the land and then determine the exact col position and measure it. That could take a bit of time, so there'll perhaps be a recce of that first. But since it's such a glorious day, we'd finished early on our first hill, we thought we'd just drop off here on the way back home and get some data for Lambrigg Fell. So we've got another 50 or so minutes to wait and enjoy ourselves. The wind's a bit cold, but otherwise it's a great day.
Right, now we're down below Lambrigg Fell. You can see the summit up there, and we're down at the col where it's joined to the higher ground of the Lake District over in that direction. And we're actually standing between the M6, making a terrible row over there, and the Euston-Glasgow railway line here. Most of the time that goes north-south, but at this particular point it's going west-east. So Glasgow's east and Euston is west. and the ground is descending from here, and if you turn round, Mervyn, and show the railway line, you can see how it's rising up in between. And we've been here looking at how deep the railway is, how deep this cutting is of the railway line, and John's going to say a few words about that.
Right, I'll go over to John. That was Jim. Jim's done a good recce of the coll of Lambrigg Fell. So here's John to describe the technical side.
Yes, what we've done, having established this is the line of the coll here, we set up the GPS just outside of the area there on the tripod there, and we've been collecting data now for around an hour. Before we started that, we had to get some measurements, get the height difference between where the GPS is set up and the bottom of the railway line. So we've done that by using something called a Leica Disto, a laser measuring device. We've been shining it down into the base of the railway here, and for using a bit of mathematics, we've calculated that the height of the GPS is 8.5 metres above the railway track.
So of course, John, we've come across colls like this before once or twice, haven't we?
The solid knot was one that was very similar with the railway line, and the coal lying in the railway cutting itself, as here.
But it's good to get the disc though out. We don't use that very often.
Yes, we've used it on Castell Gwent, and I think we used it on Milktown Hill. Bulls.
Yeah.
Same problem there. But I think that's about all.
Yeah. Cheers, John. Shall I pop over to Graham and see if he's got any final comments? You can see the railway cutting. If I just, I'll just bypass you, Graham, just for a moment, and just show the railway. That's heading southward, and here's the railway as it heads up towards Glasgow. So that's the cutting. That's the coll for Lambrigg Fell. And here's Graham. We've got the GPS just in the field, just beyond, just behind Jim. So any further comments, Graham?
Not really, Merlin. I think everything has been covered. We're nearing the end of the survey with the GPS. We've nearly collected an hour's worth of data, and I think just to finish the exercise, we will line survey down the field and across the line in the hill-to-hill direction, so that we can build up a profile of the ground as it drops towards the coll and rises on the other side, and that I think will give us then the complete survey data that we require.
Yeah, good stuff. No more comments?
I think that's it for now. We're about to start that line survey, so we can't hang around.
You can get back to your buddies now, Graham.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Okay, cheers, Graham, and thanks, John and Jim. I'll just give you a general view where we are. This is the GPS just in the background, just to the right of the guys there, and this is heading in eastward. That's part of the hill direction. And Lambrigg Fell is actually in the distance, and there's just a wind turbine over a conifer in the background. So I'll leave you a view of Lambrigg Fell. So the survey result for Lambrigg Fell. It's classified as a Marilyn. Now the OS coll height is between 180 and 190 metres on the map. Now on the OS map it gives a summit spot height of 338 metres, but a previous survey had found that actual ground was not the higher, and although the absolute height was not known, it was on an adjoining 330 metre contour ring. Now after surveying, the process data came out for the coll. It was 180.2 metres, and that was to the bottom of the railway cutting. And for the summit, this process data came out at 339.6 metres. Now that gives Lambrigg Fell an overall drop of 159.4 metres. So Lambrigg Fell easily retains its Marilyns status.